6:15 p.m., April 7th. Inside Naval Support Activity Bahrain, the command center of the United States Navy's Fifth Fleet hums with controlled urgency. Screens glow, radios crackle, and every officer in the room knows history may be shifting in real time. Then the message arrives over secure communications, short, direct, and almost unbelievable. A ceasefire has been reached. After weeks of tension and conflict, the United States and Iran have agreed to stand down. Even more critical, Iran will allow oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz without attack. For a moment, the room is silent. No one celebrates. No one relaxes. Because everyone here understands the truth. This is not peace. It's a fragile pause. And pauses can shatter without warning. Still, this is the window they've been waiting for. Nearly 200 oil tankers carrying over 130 million barrels of crude and tens of millions more in refined fuel have been trapped in ports across the region since the conflict began. Every hour they remain stuck, the global economy feels the strain. But there's one problem. No captain will risk moving a fully loaded tanker through the strait without absolute certainty. One mine. That's all it takes. One explosion could destroy a vessel worth hundreds of millions, trigger an environmental catastrophe, and collapse the ceasefire in seconds. The responsibility now falls on the Fifth Fleet to clear the most dangerous waterway on Earth and to do it fast. Within minutes, orders are issued. Mine countermeasure units mobilize. The Strait of Hormuz lies roughly 350 nautical miles away, and at full operational speed, the fleet can reach it in under half a day. But arrival is only the beginning. The moment they enter the operational zone, a new phase begins. Threat assessment. Warships establish a defensive perimeter. Surveillance assets scan for any unexpected Iranian movement. Every variable is analyzed before a single piece of equipment touches the water. Because in mine warfare, speed without precision is a death sentence. Then the operation begins. Unmanned surface vessels are deployed first. Silent, remote-controlled machines designed to hunt and trigger mines without risking human lives. They sweep forward into suspected danger zones, using advanced sonar systems to map the ocean floor in stunning detail. Every object is identified. Every anomaly is flagged. At the same time, high above the water, massive MH-53E Sea Dragon helicopters roar into action. These are not ordinary helicopters. They are flying mine-clearing platforms. Each one drags a heavy sled through the water below, generating acoustic and magnetic signatures that mimic real ships. Any hidden mine that detects these signals detonates prematurely, harmlessly, far from any tanker. The process is relentless. Long, straight flight paths, back and forth, again and again. Below the surface, autonomous underwater drones glide through darkness, scanning lane after lane of seabed. Their sonar pulses reveal everything: rocks, debris, wreckage, and potential threats. Onboard operators watch the live feeds with absolute focus. One mistake here could cost thousands of lives and billions in damage. There is no margin for error. Hour by hour, the corridor begins to take shape. Suspicious contacts are investigated one by one. When a mine is confirmed, it is marked for destruction. Sometimes a small, expendable drone is sent in, a one-way machine carrying an explosive charge guided directly into the mine before detonating on impact. Other times, precision charges are placed nearby and triggered remotely. Each explosion sends a dull shockwave through the water, a silent confirmation that another threat has been eliminated. But not all mines are easy targets. Some are hidden deep within complex terrain, wedged between rocks, buried near wreckage, or positioned in areas where drones cannot safely operate. That's when the most dangerous phase begins. Explosive ordnance disposal divers enter the water. Highly trained, highly disciplined, they descend into the unknown, carrying only their tools, their experience, and their nerve. Every movement is calculated, every second matters. They approach each mine as if it could detonate at any moment, because it can. Carefully, they assess the device, place the charge, and withdraw. Then, detonation. Another threat gone. Another step closer to reopening the world's most critical oil route. Finally, after countless hours of relentless precision, the message is ready. The strait is clear. The corridor is safe. The signal is sent. Across ports and anchorages, tanker captains receive the order they've been waiting for. Engines ignite. Anchors rise. One by one, the massive ships begin to move. Slowly at first, then steadily. The flow of oil resumes. The global lifeline reopens. But everyone knows the truth. This wasn't just a mission. It was a race against time, and the clock is still ticking. But even as the first wave of tankers begins its cautious journey, no one inside the Fifth Fleet Command Center is relaxing, because clearing a corridor once does not guarantee it stays clear. The Strait of Hormuz is not just a shipping route, it is a strategic pressure point, a narrow artery through which nearly a fifth of the world's oil supply flows. And in a region where tensions can reignite without warning, the possibility of new mines being deployed is never off the table. Intelligence feeds continue to stream in. Satellites monitor Iranian naval bases. Recon aircraft sweep the horizon. Every radar contact, every movement at sea is tracked and analyzed in real time. The destroyers maintaining the perimeter remain on high alert, their weapons systems ready, their crews watching for even the smallest sign of a violation. Overhead, attack helicopters patrol the skies, prepared to respond within seconds if anything threatens the fragile stability of the corridor. This is no longer just a mine-clearing operation. It is a full-spectrum security mission. Because if even one hostile action occurs now, with hundreds of tankers moving through the strait, the consequences would be catastrophic. Out on the water, the reality of the situation becomes clear for the tanker crews. These are not small vessels. They are massive floating cities of steel, some carrying over 2 million barrels of crude oil. Their size makes them slow to maneuver and impossible to stop quickly. Every captain navigating the strait knows the risk. Even with the clearance given, tension fills the bridge. Eyes are locked on radar screens. Crews stand ready at emergency stations. The ships move in carefully spaced convoys, guided through the cleared corridor like aircraft in a controlled airspace. There is no room for deviation, no second chances. Beneath them, the seabed has been scanned, swept, and cleared, but the ocean is vast, and uncertainty always lingers. Meanwhile, the mine countermeasure teams are not done. Their drones continue to patrol the edges of the corridor, rechecking previously cleared zones, ensuring nothing has changed. The Sea Dragon helicopters refuel and launch again, repeating their sweeping patterns to guarantee the path remains safe. This is a continuous operation, a moving shield that travels with the convoy itself. The mission is no longer just to clear the mines, but to stay ahead of any new threat before it can emerge. Back in Bahrain, the global impact is already being felt. Oil markets, which had been on edge for weeks, begin to stabilize as the first confirmed shipments exit the Gulf. Prices fluctuate, then settle. Governments breathe a cautious sigh of relief, but inside military circles, there is no illusion of victory. Everyone understands that this operation is only as strong as the ceasefire holding it together. One miscalculation, one rogue action, one political shift, and everything could collapse overnight. The Fifth Fleet remains locked in position, ready to respond at a moment's notice. Because in this region, control is never permanent, it is constantly tested. And yet, for now, the mission stands as a success. A narrow passage, once filled with invisible danger, has been forced open through precision, discipline, and relentless effort. Hundreds of ships move safely where destruction once waited beneath the surface. It is a reminder of what modern naval power can achieve, not through overwhelming force alone, but through patience, technology, and absolute control under pressure. But as the last tanker in the convoy disappears beyond the horizon, one question still hangs in the air. How long will this fragile window stay open before the next crisis begins? Wave of tankers clears the Strait of Hormuz and moves into open waters. A strange calm settles over the region. The radio chatter slows. The constant urgency that filled every channel begins to fade. For the first time in weeks, the world's most critical maritime choke point is quiet. But inside the command rooms of the Fifth Fleet, no one mistakes silence for safety. Because history has proven again and again that in this part of the world, calm is often just the space between storms. The ships remain on station. The drones keep scanning. The helicopters stay fueled and ready. Nothing stands down completely. Because the reality is simple. No matter how clean the seabed is today, it can be reseeded with danger tomorrow. And every officer here knows that if tensions rise again, they will be the first line of response, once more racing against time to prevent disaster beneath the surface. For the sailors, divers, and operators who carried out the mission, there is no parade, no spotlight, no public recognition. Their victory is invisible, measured not in explosions or headlines, but in what didn't happen. No tanker destroyed. No coastline poisoned by oil, no escalation that could have pulled entire nations into a wider war. They worked in silence, in darkness, and under constant risk, knowing that a single overlooked detail could change everything. And yet, they delivered exactly what was needed, a safe corridor through one of the most dangerous waterways on Earth. It is the kind of operation that rarely makes history books, but quietly shapes the course of global stability. Because sometimes, the most important battles are the ones the world never sees. And somewhere beyond the horizon, as the last ship disappears into the distance and the flow of oil returns to normal, the larger truth remains. The Strait of Hormuz is still there, narrow, vital, vulnerable, a single stretch of water that holds the balance of global energy in its currents. Today, it was secured through precision and control. Tomorrow, that balance could be tested again, because in a world where conflict can ignite in an instant, the line between stability and chaos is often just a few miles wide and hidden just beneath the surface.